15th at D. Geller & Son Jewelers, where we're celebrating summer and Father's Day by bringing in an incredible variety of new and pre-owned luxury Swiss timepieces. And while you're browsing, enjoy complimentary whiskey tastings thanks to Old Fourth Distillery, and get a free whiskey gift set with your purchase. It's this weekend, June 13th through 15th. Learn more at dgeller.com.
News, weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's 12 o'clock. I'm Amanda Moyer. News brought to you by Ragsdale Heating, Air, Plumbing, and Electrical. Our top story is happening now. The Middle East prepares for retaliation after Israel launches strikes on Iran, targeting its nuclear program and military leaders.
CBS News special report. Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian vows revenge for Israel's attack on its nuclear sites.
Of course, the Iranian nation and officials will not remain silent in the face of this criminal act. The Islamic Republic of Iran's legitimate and powerful response will make the enemy regret its stupid actions.
CBS's Natalie Brand in Washington.
The president, in a social media post this morning, encourages Iran to, quote, make a deal before there is nothing left and save what was once known as the Iranian Empire. No more death, no more destruction. Just do it before it's too late.
Mideast expert David Lowe says Iran claims civilians were killed.
Top commanders, nuclear scientists, even the lead nuclear negotiator for Iran. And in the process, Israel has inflicted collateral damage and right now reporting dozens of Iranian civilians that have been killed and even hundreds injured.
CBS News special report. I'm Michael Wallace.
While Iran warns of revenge, a Middle East expert weighs in on the security threat here at home.
Despite the increasing concerns, Georgia State Middle East Studies professor Dr. Mia Bloom says you still have a better chance of getting struck by lightning twice than being targeted by a terrorist in the U.S.
I think it's really important that we bring the rhetoric and the temperature down because we are extremely safe. And if there are any of these groups in the United States, I can pretty much guarantee you they've been infiltrated by the FBI.
The Israeli consulate in Atlanta is among Jewish sites worldwide closing down as a precaution and warns Jews to be extra alert in public places. Jennifer Perry, 95.5 WSB.
Stocks are trying to claw their way back after tumbling at the open. The Dow is still down more than 400 points. Tune in often for the latest in the conflict between Israel and Iran. We'll have coverage at the top and bottom of every hour and when it breaks. Major protests are scheduled in Atlanta and around the country this weekend against the Trump administration, and Georgia's top law enforcement official says they're ready.
Following a violent end to an anti-ICE protest in Brookhaven earlier this week, Attorney General Chris Carr tells WSB law enforcement agencies around the state are coordinating to address any issues around protests this weekend. Carr says there's a difference between violence and legitimate protest.
In Georgia, if you want to use violence for the purpose of changing public policy, we call that domestic terrorism, and the penalty is 5 to 35 years.
Carr is urging everyone to remain peaceful. Jonathan O'Brien, 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta fire rescue crews pull a body from Peachtree Creek. They've blocked off an area near Howell Mill Road and Peachtree Battle while they investigate the circumstances surrounding the person's death. So far, officials aren't saying whether or not they suspect foul play. The 19-year-old who was injured after he was thrown 300 feet away from his home last month by a tornado in Henry County is speaking publicly for the first time. It comes in a social media update from Malachi Cheney and his dad, Trey.
I want to thank everybody for supporting me. It means the world, and it's going to be one of the greatest comebacks that you've ever seen in your life. Facts.
Malachi spent weeks in the hospital recovering with broken bones in his face and ribs, a punctured lung, and a neck injury. Their home was destroyed by that twister rated an EF2. The Atlanta streetcar will undergo an extensive closure later this year to allow for nearby infrastructure repairs.
While there's no exact timeline yet, the closure will happen before the end of the year so that Georgia Power can repair an underground transmission line.
They have requested MARTA close our streetcar for approximately 4 months, and this is subject to change based on a final construction schedule approved by both MARTA and the City of Atlanta.
MARTA's Daniel Hecht tells the MARTA board they hope to coordinate the closure with Atlanta Watershed for another sewer project along the streetcar route. Hecht says they plan to have the service operational ahead of the World Cup next year. Austin Eller, 95.5 WSB.
Emory and Grady hospitals will be getting about $3 million over 2 years to fight the opioid crisis in our state. Joe Carpenter is the assistant professor of emergency medicine at Emory and Grady, and he says the money will be used to support drug addiction treatment, prevention, and recovery services.
Nationally, we're starting to see improvements in deaths due to drug overdose, but I think it's important for us to recognize that even though our numbers are going down in terms of those drug overdose deaths, we're really just getting back now to pre-COVID numbers.
In 2022, Georgia secured $638 million from national settlements. It's 12:04, time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Andrew Seco is in the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
And right now, looking at everything starting to filter out here in and around the Metro Atlanta area. Had a few trouble spots. 75 southbound as you approach Howell Mill Road. We had a stall off to the right. That has since been cleared. All lanes back open through here. On the connector northbound, approaching the heart of downtown right before I-20. Had a crash in the left lane, 75-85 northbound, but that has been cleared. You still have a couple extra brake lights taking you back towards Langford Parkway. And it looks like our trouble spot by the home of the Braves, 75 southbound at Whitty Hill Road, exit 260. That's moved off to the right. We do have some trouble inside the perimeter. Water line repair. Highway 41 Northside Parkway near Paces Ferry Road, going to be on and off through most of the day today. It is closed right now as I'm looking at the map sensors. Avoid the area. You can take Paces Ferry Road, or you can just hop on I-75. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
It's now time for Atlanta Radio's only 5-day forecast, sponsored by Shoemate, the official air conditioning of Atlanta. Here's Channel 2 Action News Chief Meteorologist Brad Nitz.
Showers and thunderstorms will develop through the afternoon and evening. They'll be fairly scattered, but good bet that you'll see some wet weather today at times, heavy downpours. Overnight and into Saturday morning, evening showers and storms will dry up. Some dry hours in the morning tomorrow, low 71, high 86, but 80% chance of rain Saturday afternoon and evening. And we'll keep afternoon and evening showers and storms around Sunday, low 71, high 85. Now my 5-day forecast for Monday and Tuesday, lows in the low 70s, highs in the upper 80s both days early next week with afternoon showers and storms. Recapping the forecast for today, high 86 with showers and storms this afternoon and evening. I'm Channel 2 Action News Chief Meteorologist Brad Nitz, 95.5 WSB.
It's 80 degrees in Midtown. More news at 12:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Amanda Moyer, 95.5 WSB.
We've got other stuff to talk about, but this is going to dominate the conversation for a little while. And I want to start with the overview of what actually happened. We'll get into the subterfuge and all of that. So Israel began last night, overnight, before the sun came up in Iran, engaging in a series of military attacks. According to the Israelis, in one night they ran 5 separate missions from Israel to Iran, back to refuel, back again, back to refuel, back again, taking out a variety of targets. The Iranian military leadership was meeting with many of the nuclear scientists. Many of those people are now dead. Massively successful attack by Israel. The United States said it was not directly involved. Marco Rubio released a statement saying that we were not directly involved and that Israel did it on its own, whether we were involved or not, and we'll get to that. Israel used our F-35s that are so stealthy that an Iranian MiG could be right underneath one of the F-35s and have no idea there was a plane above them. That's how stealthy the F-35 is. It's remarkable plane. The F-22 is even better and more advanced, but as a buddy of mine was telling me last night, we don't even let people look at the F-22. We don't sell it to anybody. We'll give anybody the F-35. The F-22 is the superior plane. The F-35, though, Israel got, and Israel modified it to its specifications. And it took out massive capabilities from Iran last night. We know that Iran then decapitated at the military level, the Iranian military chief of staff gone, ranking generals gone, and they attempted to launch drones to attack Israel. And the 100 drones that Iran launched in reciprocity were shot out of the sky and never made it into Israeli territory. It was a remarkable sight to behold. Now, let me get to the 2 theories, one of which was floated by someone in the know, but he says it's speculation on his part. And I want to give you both of the takes. The first take is the unflattering take to Trump. It's not my take. His take, and the take of those around him, and by the way, he is involved in the intelligence community, is that take Donald Trump at his word. He doesn't have impulse control. He struggles to keep secrets. He did not want Israel to attack Iran. Israel attacked Iran and began leaking that the Americans were involved when they realized the attack was such a success to get Donald Trump involved for what comes next. That Trump didn't want it to happen, but they came out and said, oh, Donald Trump helped us. Donald Trump's a genius. Donald Trump did this. And Donald Trump's like, yeah, I'm a genius. Of course I helped it, and he did help. That's take one. You need to understand that take exists out there. Here's my take. When I was in junior high school, I had a teacher who later in life I learned actually worked for the CIA, even while he was my teacher. And he gave us in our class really good advice. He said, never keep a secret. Be the guy whose reputation is that you can't keep secrets, so that when you have a secret to keep, no one thinks you're keeping secrets. Now listen, I don't mean to make any of you mad or feel insulted. I know I'm going to get hate mail. Some of you are too sensitive to handle the conversation, but I'm going to say something that sounds like an insult, and in this case it's not, and I just need you to prepare because some of you are going to get your hackles up. Donald Trump was very good at being a man known for no impulse control, and when he was cheating on his wives, they had no idea. They had no idea. He was able to have the reputation of an incapability of keeping secrets, so the secret he wanted to keep is his affairs. He kept those secrets pretty darn good. My suspicion is Donald Trump does tend to lack impulse control. You know, the marshmallow test. Do you take the marshmallow immediately or do you wait and you get more later? He tends to lack impulse control, but in a situation like this, I think Trump can rise to the occasion. I think Trump is capable of keeping certain secrets and other secrets he has to unburden himself with. And in this case, it's remarkable. Look, I just want to give you the timeline. 61 days before Israel struck Iran, Donald Trump told Iran, you've got 60 days to come to the table. On the 61st day, Israel struck. Now, here are bits and pieces that I know this morning. One, Israel had to use our satellite capacities because they didn't have the satellite capabilities to be able to make the run. So we had to be involved in that capacity. Two, talk to multiple people who are very familiar with what Israel has and can fly, and they all are unanimous. There's no way Israel was able to make 5 repeat runs to Iran last night without some level of mid-air refueling in a capacity that only we have for the F-35. We had to have been involved. I know Rubio came out and said, we're not involved. And that was good because in the initial wave of reciprocity, Iran could have targeted American personnel. But Rubio came out and forcefully denied, we're not involved. We have no idea. Remember, and this is very important too, we know this is a fact, even though it got underplayed by the media, that during the Biden administration, Iranian agents embedded within our defense infrastructure and our intelligence infrastructure. So here comes Rubio and Trump saying, it's not us, we have nothing to do with it. And internally, the conversations are all about Iran, come to the table. We want Iran to come to the table. We're sending Witkoff over there to negotiate. We're going to send our representative to Saudi Arabia. We're going to do all of these things. Iran, come to the table. Iran, come to the table. And Iran thought it was headed to the table. Internally, the discussions were all about peace. Any Iranian agents still within defense or intelligence, they would have been completely obfuscated, completely obstructed, completely turned upside down. I think we just engaged in master subterfuge with the Israelis. And you know, the left today is struggling on how do we attack Donald Trump? Do we attack him by saying that the Israelis didn't respect his wishes, or do we attack him for lying to the American people? Presidents have a history in this country, going back to George Washington, of not being fully candid with the American public at times for our best interests. And it is in our best interest to sometimes be told things that aren't actually true. You can deny that all you want, but you know deep down it's true. Is it better for us to have plausible deniability of something happening and public statements saying it's not true so that we can do something, but in the process minimize American casualties? And the position today is actually that we had no involvement, but behind the scenes, people are saying, "Oh yeah, we've been coordinating for weeks." Here's what happened: the President of the United States and Benjamin Netanyahu several weeks ago had a very firm and angry conversation that was leaked, telling Netanyahu, do not bomb Iran. Do not do it. On Monday, according to Israeli sources and now American sources, Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu had a private conversation outlining how Israel was going to proceed with taking out the Iranian nuclear factories and nuclear enrichment facilities and scientists and leadership. And then publicly, both men on both sides leaked that Donald Trump spent his time urging Benjamin Netanyahu to not do it. And then Donald Trump came out the other day and said, I think an attack, it could be imminent. I don't want the attack. I don't want to. I'm sending my representative back to the Middle East. I want to sit down with the Iranians. I do not want Netanyahu to do anything. I want one more chance. I think we're close. And then Benjamin Netanyahu leaked that his son is going to get married on Monday. And he was going with his family up to northern Israel to the mountains to rest before the wedding. And Israel's top military leadership said, the President of the United States has told us not to do anything. We're standing down. We're all going home for the weekend. And then in the middle of the night, they all met up at headquarters. They got U.S. Central Command on the phone. They turned the satellites towards Iran. They got the mid-air refuelers in the air. And they decapitated the Iranian central military leadership. In Israel, it's true, we weren't involved. We didn't launch weapons. We didn't blow anybody up. Israel did everything. Israel did it all. We just kept our eyes open for them through the satellites. We kept their planes fueled. We didn't want them falling out of the sky. After all, they're our assets. We didn't want them getting into Iranian hands. We didn't bomb anybody. We weren't involved. Marco Rubio was right. Donald Trump was right. Doesn't matter, though. The Ayatollah believes that we are the great Satan and Israel is the little Satan. That's what he calls us. The United States is the great Satan and Israel is the little Satan. And it is my hope that last night the great Satan and the little Satan sent the Ayatollah to see the OG Satan. It was a fiery but mostly peaceful protest in Iran last night by Israel over Iran's nuclear capabilities. And the chief of staff of the Iranian military, General Salami, is now General Bologna with Swiss cheese holes in him. He's gone. The head of the Iranian Republican Revolutionary Guard, gone. The senior leadership of the nuclear program, gone. The uranium centrifuges for refining the uranium, gone. The facility where the bombs were being made, gone. The oil refinery that was producing oil to sell to China to be able to fund the project, gone. The Iranian drone manufacturing facility, gone. Israel says it's going to last 2 weeks. They're going to keep it up. They decapitated senior leadership. They struck Iran's capacity to make drones and produce oil to sell to fund its efforts, and they're going to keep it up. And Iran's response has thus far proven anemic. Doesn't mean they can't respond. It doesn't mean they won't respond. It doesn't mean Israelis won't die. But the fact that the Arab world, the Chinese, and others are all kind of sitting back and amazed, it's remarkable. Israel did the whole world a favor. And I would note that only the Tucker Carlsons and the Candace Owens of the world and the clear anti-Semites are the ones out there upset about what Israel did. All these people have said, we need to stay out of it. We need to stay out of it. If Israel wants to do it, Israel can do it, but keep us out of it. Israel kept us out of it. Israel did it. And now they're complaining about Israel doing it themselves. Oh, they're going to drag us into a war. I would note how these people never complain. When Iran attacks, they never complained that, we might get dragged into a war. Look at what Iran did. Nope, it's only when Israel responds. Only when Israel does something are they like, we could get dragged into a war. They're not anti-war, they're anti-Israel. Daryl Cooper, Tucker Carlson's favorite historian, came out last night and said, we need to bomb Tel Aviv. Yes, Daryl Cooper, the historian some of you love, came out last week and admitted he is a National Socialist, that is, a Nazi. And last night urged the bombing of Tel Aviv. This guy's been platformed by Tucker Carlson as Tucker Carlson's favorite historian. He's been platformed by Joe Rogan. Why are we platforming Nazis who want to bomb the Jews? I stand with Israel on this. And you should too. When we come back, the lay of the land today and just how involved were we? We don't actually know yet. We assume we're going to be finding out soon exactly how involved we were. My assumption is that we were significantly involved. But again, we didn't actually fire bombs or launch bombs. We just coordinated the intelligence.
Have something to say? Hello. Call the show. 1-877-97-ERIC. That's 1-877-973-7425.
1221 in the Cool Rig area. Traffic's moving right along. Got some volume in and around the metro. Northbound on the connector seems to be the worst of it. 75-85. You're slow from University Avenue up towards Freedom Parkway. And the road work leaving Stockbridge slowing you down. We're in the right lane. 675 northbound just north of I-75. This sport's sponsored by Whole Foods Market. Save on organics at Whole Foods Market. Get organic yellow peaches for $3.99 per pound with Prime through June 17th. While supplies last, shop in store or online. Terms apply. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
The morning rush hour, the evening rush hour, and everything in between.
Slow spots are starting to build up the east side perimeter on 285 North.
Tune in 24/7 with the Triple Team Traffic Center.
We've had several breakdowns, including one in the express lane.
Your source for Atlanta's traffic.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's the Love Your Home Minute from TE Certified. Hi, it's Chris Chandler with Josh, the local owner of TE Certified Electrical, Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. You know Josh, that's him you see jumping out of the back of their trucks. Josh, welcome. About that time of year, tell me what you have installed outside your house that really makes you love your home.
My landscape lights, they're beautiful and they're safe. I love at night being able to pull up to my house and seeing how pretty it is. And of course, I like being able to see my way from the car to the door. I love at night when I go outside to let the dog out, or if I'm checking on something, I can actually see. And to be quite honest, I love it when my neighbors say, man, your house looks amazing.
It's fun to make the neighbors jealous.
A little bit, yeah.
What kind of different, sort of lighting choices are there? Fixtures and bulbs and brightness and all that?
So we do uplights on the side of the house. We do path lights. We do spotlights on trees. We do accent lighting as well.
Wow, outdoor lighting sounds like a bright idea, Josh, and a great way to love your home.
TE Certified, we love your home.
The foods we eat can be downright bad for our health. This is Sue from Bread Beckers with Sue's Healthy Minute. I have a degree in food science, and for more than 30 years, I've been teaching the truth about real bread. Not the stuff you buy at the store. I'm talking real bread made with freshly milled flour. When you buy bread from the store, take a look at the ingredients. Enriched flour means that the nutritious bran and germ has been removed to improve the shelf life. Then a few B vitamins and iron are added back to replace the multitude of nutrients lost. That's not enrichment in my book. And today, that label may even read contains bioengineered food ingredients. Food should never be bioengineered. At Bread Beckers in Woodstock, we can teach you how to make real bread loaded with fiber and nutrients. A delicious, healthy, affordable solution that can improve your health and change your life. Visit breadbeckers.com or our Bread Beckers store in Woodstock.
When everyone in the family wants something different from this year's vacation, there's only one thing to do.
Plan for Pigeon Forge. From gorgeous mountain views, shows, and shopping for leisure lovers to coasters, a 200-foot swing, and hundreds more rides for adventure seekers. Plus Dollywood's epic array of fun. There's plenty of variety for the whole family, all in one place. Unique experiences, quality time, and memories for years to come. Find your personal favorites. Plan your getaway at mypigeonforge.com.
Two of rock's most iconic bands, Kansas and 38 Special. Together in one night, rocking Fox Theater, Saturday, June 21st, 7 p.m. With special guest, The Outlaws. On sale now at foxtheater.org. Don't miss Kansas and 38 Special live.
There's a new optimism in the air, and we think investors like you might have the best year ever. Hello, I'm Brant Frost, founder of First Liberty Building and Loan. Last year, we opened up our First Liberty Notes program to Main Street investors just like you, and the response has been just incredible. Everyday folks from all walks of life have enjoyed 8 to 13% interest rates while helping to fuel the growth of small businesses right here at home. If you're a qualified investor and have a minimum of $25,000, you too could be earning 8 to 13% interest rates. We'd love to have you join our First Liberty family today. We believe this is going to be a special year and a great year. We've got the projects, now we need partners like you. Go to firstlibertyga.com and see if our First Liberty notes are right for you. Go to firstlibertyga.com. That's firstlibertyga.com.
First Liberty notes are not obligations of or guaranteed by any financial institution and are not secured by any collateral. They are not FDIC insured or guaranteed by any government agency. You could lose money. Purchasers must verify their SEC accredited investor status. Securities are not being offered in any jurisdiction in which it is unlawful.
If it's happening on the streets of Atlanta,
The Cobb County Medical Examiner's Office identifies 57 sets of cremains.
if it's happening on the roads leading to Atlanta,
Massive project at 285 and Georgia 400 has been a big improvement.
we've got it covered.
Atlanta jurors convict a former Customs and Border Protection officer.
Your 24/7 news source.
Covering the stories that impact you.
Tune in throughout the day to stay up to date.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's breaking news station. Your non-stop news source. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
Breaking news, Senator Alex Padilla of California is flying to Israel to storm into a Benjamin Netanyahu press conference and disrupt it to try to get attention after falling out of the news cycle in less than 6 hours. Okay, in all honesty here, this story makes me laugh. Senator Alex Padilla of California stormed into a press conference by Kristi Noem. He had his staff there to video him storming in, to video him being pushed out and tackled by security for disrupting it and handcuffed, and then circulated the video and a link to send him money. His staff edited the video to edit out the part where Alex Padilla stormed in without identifying himself and then claimed that he had identified himself. This was a stunt. And then Democrats rushed to the floor of the Senate to denounce it. House Democrats rushed to the floor to denounce it. The media denounced it. I got to give CNN credit. They were like, oh, this was totally a stunt for attention. If you actually believe that Alex Padilla was inappropriately tackled and that this was all an innocent thing on his part, you are the dupe, the rube that the Democrats are looking for. I've seen people on MSNBC say, this is an outrage, this is an assault on democracy. No, the guy intended for it to happen that way. He wore a shirt that said he was identified in the U.S. Senate, but he had a jacket over it to cover it up that says, I had a shirt on that showed I was a senator. If you actually believe Alex Padilla's side of this, you're an idiot. You need to know it. Americans for Prosperity is trying to get people involved to advance common sense conservative solutions around the country, including support for the president's tax reform. They would love to have you involved. What you can do is go to protectprosperity.com today.